You just can't get rid of all the villainous in me. There's some still there. Virtual reality.
Hi, I'm Evan Real,
And I'm Caroline in for Danny.
and we have a lot to talk about, Caroline, this week. I want to begin with, because I know you're a big fan of the daughters. We got to talk about Teresa Giudice and her daughters, because they were making a little splash this week in the Sheen world. And I wonder how Sheree Whitfield is feeling that they that Teresa and the Giudice girls are stealing her Sheen by Sheree Thunder.
I know. I mean, it was wild. So I saw well, first of all, it's only three of the daughters, which I thought was interesting. Um, Gabriella was not in it, but she's just at University of Michigan. So if I had to guess, I'd say that's why. But three of the daughters did make it. Adriana is only 14, which is crazy to like see her so grown up and everything. That was my big takeaway, but not everyone was thrilled with the partnership with this fast fashion company. And, people did not hold back in the comments. They were saying it's problematic, it's tacky and cheap and whatnot. But, if I have to guess, I think Teresa's living in this little love bubble, and I don't think she cares too much about what other people have to say. What do
Well,
you think?
especially when the cash is coming through and the check comes her way. I mean, I can only imagine that she and the daughters got a pretty penny for this collaboration. And I'm really sad that Gabriella missed out because, when you're like broken in college, like you need that extra money. Like I hope she
I
got
know.
some sort of cut from it. But also, it's interesting. Gabriella, I feel like, has always been the one to shy away from the spotlight. So she was probably very happy to use like college as an excuse, like, oh, sorry, I'm in Michigan, can't do it. But I will say, even though some people are upset about the collaboration, even though some people think that it's tacky, some people aren't about that whole fast fashion life, everyone looked amazing.
Oh my gosh, everyone was so snatched and just I will say, like, even though some people may call the clothes cheap, they wore them very, very well. They all looked amazing. I mean, Teresa literally could be one of the four daughters. Like, no one would even notice at this point, honestly. It's so crazy. They all look amazing, snatched. And a lot of people too were saying that. They were like, I've never heard of Sheen before. I've never tried it, and now I have an excuse to. So maybe we'll just have to wait for the reviews and see what people like. I don't know. Maybe the Judice girls had an impact that we don't even know about yet.
I saw some tree stumps already talking online about how they can't wait to buy some of the collection to wear to BravoCon. So, I mean, they're doing something, right? I feel like I'll like scroll on Shein and I'll like put so much in my cart, and then it gets to me and it doesn't necessarily look the way that it looked
Yeah.
online. So I do hope that the quality is there. I hope that Adriana and Melania and Gia are, at the factory, wherever that factory is, sort of like quality checking the clothing with mom, you know what I mean? Right? Like,
Yes, I could see it. I could see it. A lot of people are asking for like a Judice spin-off and like their first family trip, they go to the factories that, wherever that location may be. I'm not opposed to it. I think it'd be interesting. A lot of people are calling them the next or the Northeast Kardashians. That could be a poll for our listeners if they could ever be.
Kardashians. Okay, I like it. Well, the
Mhm.
same time that this Sheen collaboration drops, uh police cam footage of Teresa also drops. And this was back in April. A cop was not feeling the way she was driving, said she was veering a little bit to the right. She was driving kind of slow. So he stopped her to ask her what was up. And apparently she had a new navigation system that she wasn't certain how to use.
Well, you keep drifting over to the right side, I noticed. You were going a little slow, you're on like 55, and then you were drifting over.
The navigation on.
Oh, okay.
It was interesting too, because first of all, this police officer could not have been nicer. Like, I'm guessing I mean, I don't know who released it, whatever, but like, he probably for a while was like, oh, like, I'm pretty good in this. If this ever did get out, maybe he did realize who she was. But he was so nice in it, first of all. But second of all, it was Teresa reminded me exactly of how any person getting pulled over acts, in that they're just like rambling nonsense. Like she mentioned, these family business cards she had, while also, talking about how her car was a temporary one, and while also saying the navigation was off, and also mentioned how she drives like her late father did. It was just kind of all over the place.
I have family business cards too.
Oh, okay, no, don't worry about it. Yeah, okay.
Her attorney did clarify that it was a PBA card, not a family business card, as some people, have their assumptions about what that would mean. But I don't know. I thought the video was entertaining and relatable, to say the least.
Yeah, it is funny you say that she was rambling on, because I've been pulled over a few times, and I'm always like so flustered, and I don't know where my license and registration is, and you just kind of say whatever you feel like you can to get out of the situation. And if you have a PBA card, you might as well pull that card. And I feel like family business card is basically a synonym for a PBA card, because I didn't know what a PBA card was, and so like I'm very fascinated by this whole situation. But a PBA card, PBA stands for Policy Benevolent Association. And basically it's when you are related to a police officer, like your uncle or your dad or your mom, or you're just really good friends with the police officer. They can give you this little card. It has their name on it. And I guess it's like documentation that you are friends with someone in the police force, and that maybe, just maybe, it's not a guarantee, but the police officer who is pulling you over can be like, oh, your uncle is Jimmy John. I love Jimmy. Of course I'm going to let you go. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I wish I had a PBA card, family business card.
I know. I need to take more laps around like the local like NYPD like police district by me, like befriend some of them, because it sounds like it has quite the benefits. But this story did make me laugh, because before you figured out what it actually was, in my head I was like, what is a Giudice family business card? Like, who is on it? What does it say?
It's a Sheen card. It's Sheen. Tree should absolutely take advantage of this, buy BravoCon and sell like Tree BA cards. So it's like you're part of the like Tree. I feel like the tree huggers, or as Margaret Josephs calls them, the tree stumps, would absolutely love some Tree BA cards.
Oh my God, I would die. Like the tree huggers are coming in all their matching Sheen sets, like with like all in line to get these Tree VA cards. Oh my gosh, I would die. That is what you're paying to go to BravoCon for right there. Like not anything else. That right there. That is quality Bravo at its peak.
Well, I know that Kyle Richards is going to be at BravoCon. I don't know about Mauricio Umansky. I think and I hope that he'll still probably be busy with Dancing with the Stars, but he has been making time to grab dinner with his family and a woman who everyone assumed he had moved on from Kyle with. It's an actress, Leslie Vega. So Leslie, Mauricio, and his parents, they all went out to dinner, and people assumed that he was dating this Leslie woman, which, like, good for him. Get it. I mean, Kyle's out here hanging out with Morgan. Like, he needs someone to hang out with too. But what happened, Caroline, is that it was a false alarm. Leslie and Mauricio are not dating because Leslie is dating Mauricio's dad because his parents aren't even together anymore, which I didn't even know.
This was probably like a top 5 Bravo headline for me. Like waking up and seeing like she's not dating Mauricio, but she is dating his dad is like top 10. Like, oh, I wasn't even interested in the story to begin with, but that took me out, because the photo is hilarious, because any normal person, even if you knew nothing about the show, nothing about Mo, you would assume that it's Mauricio and this actress and then his parents, because I mean, it's just the way that they're sitting, and he's kind of like holding the chair next to her, where like his parents are on the other side. But overall, I mean, I guess good for his dad is all we can say. I mean, maybe love in the future for Mauricio, but I don't know.
Yeah, congratulations to Mr. Umansky. Very happy for him. I will say, I do hope that Mauricio finds some companionship with someone. I hope that he's not lonely with, Kyle hanging out with Morgan, his dad hanging out with this new girl. I mean, maybe he'll, maybe it's like some like mommy and son time that he'll get to clock in, or maybe he'll meet a new woman. I don't know. Maybe he's hanging out with his daughters. I not lonely. I'm glad that he has his Dancing with the Stars partner, I suppose.
I know. I love him on Dancing with the Stars. And my whole take is I think he's so much better than what he's getting scored for. I think he's like bringing a little like fusion, flair, fun to it, whatever. And I love him on it, and I want him to do well. And no matter what happens this season on Beverly Hills, which I know we're all dying to see, right now, as of now, I really hope the best for him. He just seems like a great guy.
Yeah, and I do enjoy him on Dancing with the Stars as well, mainly because I just pray and hope that he like unbuttons his shirt, that he removes his shirt. I'm like Bruno. You know how like Bruno always gets very excited for like that's me at home. Like I jump on my table and I scream and shout and I bang my chest and I'm like wooga wooga when I see a shirtless man on Dancing with the Stars. And right now Mauricio is absolutely fitting that bill. So is Harry Jowsey, by the way. Harry Jowsey is looking really good.
Oh, good. Yes. And I'm dying to see what's going on with him and his pro, because she's new to the scene, right? So at first, and I mean, he's so tall, she's so short. And I'm very intrigued, very, very intrigued to see what's going on after they were spotted holding hands.
I'm intrigued too. And it's really interesting that we talk about this at this time, because Brooke Burke came out recently saying that when she was on Dancing with the Stars years and years ago, she was tempted to have an affair with her partner at the time, Derek Huff, who's now a judge. And she was like, I didn't have the affair though, because I was married. But like, clearly this level of connection, this level of time commitment sort of facilitates a space for people to develop feelings for each other. And so, yeah, I think that if Riley and Harry are both singling and mingling, then this could absolutely be the start of a wonderful relationship. And how great for Riley if that were the case, because not only is she beginning her pro journey on the show, but she would also get a boyfriend out of it. So she gets like a job on Dancing with the Stars plus a boyfriend. It's kind of like the perfect scenario.
Oh my gosh, how do I sign up?
Yeah, you know, right? Like in the well, taking a turn, not as fun as a Dancing with the Stars romance. Tamra, she is currently recovering after a gastrointestinal issue, which is really interesting. I hope that she's doing okay, but as she is sort of experiencing these health concerns, it made me think of how, I don't know if you remember when she had that life-saving surgery. I think it was for a ruptured hernia, and it's the reason why she actually doesn't have a belly button anymore. But Dr. Terry is the one who like stayed on the phone with her until she got to the hospital, like made sure that she was okay, like helped her through that situation. And I wonder if Tamara is having like those same thoughts, like remembering that experience with Dr. Terry after sort of wrapping up a really contentious season with Heather Dubrow. I mean, the way that this reunion has unfolded, it is very much like Tamara versus Heather. And I also think that the Bravo fandom is pretty divided right now. Where do you lie in this whole like Heather versus Tamara situation?
Yeah, I mean, what you just said is so true. Like, I feel like, especially like when people have health scares and such, especially what Terry Dubrow went through earlier this year was so scary with his stroke and all that. And it really does. I mean, at least I hope that it makes, their issues look a little smaller in the grand scheme of things, like, I mean, I don't know. It's just so tough because like, do we really know like what they're fighting over? Like, I really don't know, because on part one of their reunion, it was basically like Tamara kind of revealed, I'm mad at you because you said this thing on your podcast 6 months ago. And then Heather, play back the clip. Heather didn't say it, her co-host did. So I don't really understand where they're fighting to begin with, but I agree with you when you say that the Bravo fandom is definitely a little divided, because I think this is one of the rare friendships on the Bravoverse where people really, really don't like to see them fight. You know, obviously there's some fun little friendship feuds, frenemies, all that fun stuff. But I really do enjoy Tamra and Heather, especially they've had such a genuine bond for so long. And I really hope they can resolve things. I'm not totally sure where they stand now, but, you know, like you said, hopefully maybe this, you know, this health scare for Tamra will, you know, Heather could reach out, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like the silver lining of this health scare for Tamra could be a potential reconciliation, because serious situations like this really do have a way of putting things into perspective. And speaking of new perspectives, it seems like Jax Taylor has a new perspective on his friendship or lack thereof with Tom Sandoval, because I spoke to him during the House of Villains junket, and I had to ask him about Sandoval, of course, because it's, you know, Jax Taylor, he's on House of Villains, but Tom Sandoval is like the ultimate villain in reality TV right now. Tom Sandoval just dropped his podcast. Jax Taylor was not feeling the podcast announcement because he thought it was kind of like lame and distasteful that he did it on the night that Ariana made her Dancing with the Stars debut. But nonetheless, he is now actually considering going on the podcast. Surprise, surprise.
Crazy. Yeah. I mean, you talked to several of the House of Villains stars, so I'm dying to see everything that you talked to everyone about and can't wait to hear about all of it.
I do love the idea of you being a reformed villain, because I feel like that's partially true. And now we got your former castmate, Tom Sandoval. He's like full on in his villain era. Has he tapped you for any advice on how to maybe navigate, how to get out of his villain era?
No, because we've gone down the same paths. We've done exactly, well, his is a little different than mine. He had a full-on affair. I didn't. No, but we have talked, you know, and like I said before, you know, we come to an understanding. You know, I'm not going to sit here and beat him down for what he's done, because I don't have a leg to stand on that topic. I just didn't agree with how he treated his best buddy who he has a restaurant with, and I had a problem with that. Other than that, you know, the whole world has come down on him, and I you know, I don't know what that's like. So I kind of just extended, you know, myself and say, hey man, if you ever need me or whatever, I'm down the street. You know, and I gave him a hug and you know, wished him the best. Wish him the best, and I'll talk to him again soon. But I'm just kind of letting him do his thing right now and trying to navigate his way through this whole situation.
Tom has only one supporter, and that's.
I'm not saying I support
world.
what he does, but you know, like, when the whole world is coming down on you, like the last thing he needs is Jax Taylor to come down on him too. You know, I felt like just taking the high road on this one and just kind of saying, listen, you know, if you need something, I'm here. You know, you got to understand, I know what he did was wrong. Everybody makes mistakes, but I've been friends with this guy for 20 years. You know, he's one of my best friends. He's still always going to be one of my best friends. So, you know, yes, he did something wrong. Okay, I think he's learned his lesson, and I think he's moving on. Although I didn't really care for the fact that he announced his podcast the day after Ariana did Dancing with the Stars. That I had a problem with.
Yeah, Ari did
I think he
deserve
should
that.
definitely have a podcast. He needs an outlet. There's a way to do it, though. I think maybe waiting a couple of days till after the show came out probably would have been a little bit better. I don't know who his
Aren't
PR
you
people
going
are.
on that podcast?
I'm sure one day I will be part of it. I'm sure one day I'll be on it. But I'm just saying I think that was a little bit distasteful. But other than that, like I said, he's learning. He's trying to, you know, reinvent himself, I think. So we'll see.
Omarosa, I feel like you have thoughts on Scandoval.
God.
Can you share them?
No, it's just really through the eyes of Jax. I think that it shows your growth, to show that you are understanding, that you extend grace, and that you're willing to, you know, give him a chance.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, probably one I would have to say, besides us, probably the biggest villain in TV world right now. So, you know, so
That's saying something.
Yeah, season 2.
Season 2, Tom
There
would
you go.
definitely he would definitely do well on this show. He would definitely do well.
Now,
He's got my vote.